magic for a good blaster at your side.
Welcome to Hokey Religion, the Star Wars podcast. Try our new bread bowl. This episode, we're going to be talking about the characters in the upcoming film, The Last Jedi, from the EW articles with the information that was released. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
Welcome back to episode 53.
53, the 2-year anniversary of Hokey Religion, the podcast.
Yes, today, as of recording, is exactly 2 years from the day our first episode released.
How far we've come.
Look how far we've moved from that right there in the office to right over here.
Right over here. Still talking
like
about
a whole
the same.
foot and a half.
Not really. Just nothing. Got nothing. I have three things I want to talk about real quick before we get into this.
All right, three
Number
things.
one,
Number
my son saw coconut for the first time in his entire life the other day. Number two.
What kind of life do you...
No question. There's no time for questions. Moving on.
Okay.
Number two. I saw the first episode of Castlevania. It was okay. Number three. Anime is actually not cool now. I don't know if you knew about that. It's actually not cool
to watch anime anymore?
No, it's not cool. Nobody can watch it anymore. It's not as bad for you.
The council met?
Yes.
And they decided.
The anime committee bet. Can you imagine how terrible that would be? The
anime committee?
The anime committee.
Isn't that like the anime club at like community college?
It was the anime committee?
Yeah.
They make the decisions about?
I'm guessing.
Well, it's not cool anymore. You can't watch it. So
who told you can't watch anime
I don't know
anymore?
if I'm here to tell you these things. I don't know if you knew.
Who instructed you such?
Everyone who knows about anime knows that it's not cool anymore. So,
it's official.
Yes.
So don't be on the lookout for Attack on Titan season 2 or 3 or wherever it's on now.
Don't be on the lookout. It may come out.
Don't watch it.
Don't watch it. It's not cool anymore.
That's too bad.
No.
Too bad I've never been cool and I'll still watch it anyways.
Nope, can't.
I don't have a life. What am I supposed to do with my time?
Not
anime. That's for sure.
Don't anime.
What if there was a Star Wars anime?
There was.
Well,
that little short, did you ever see that?
Yeah.
The little there's a hair flying around.
What if there was an actual ongoing Star Wars anime?
Oh.
What are we supposed to do then?
It's not cool anymore. I'm sorry. It's not my fault they made a Star Wars
cool.
anime, and
it doesn't have to be cool.
Anymore.
They made Rebels, and they had the Force of Destiny thing. So
yeah, we don't watch that junk.
Well,
it's not cool. Don't watch it. It's not good for you.
Fine. It's not good for you now. It's not just not cool. It's harmful.
It's bad.
It's bad.
It hurts you.
I'll have to delve into why the sudden change of heart.
Those are my three things.
Anime. I'm more concerned about the fact that your son's never seen a coconut in real life before.
That was
an accident. That was an accident. He wasn't supposed to see it.
He wasn't. We were walking past the coconut display, and it's my fault.
Wait,
it's my
it doesn't. I don't know where you are.
What?
We're walking past the coconut display.
Haven't you ever seen the coconut display?
And now I'm thinking
we were walking past it. What else is there to
how
say?
like a peacock puts on a display. Like I'm imagining coconuts, like a display of coconuts. The coconuts displaying for mating. Coconut mating season.
Don't you ever walk past the peacock display? It's right next to the coconut display.
Apparently, I need to go to the display market.
So we're walking past the coconut display, as you do.
As you do in September, almost.
And unfortunately, he looked over and saw a coconut.
He'll never be the same.
I couldn't get in between him and the coconut fast enough, so he saw it. And he asked me, Father, is this a coconut, Father?
Is this what I've seen in the films?
Is this what I've read about in the trades?
Well,
son, you don't need to be worrying about those things. I'm not sure.
Where did any of these accents come from in your family?
Well, this is how we talk. I don't know.
You sent your son away to a British prep school, and you moved
Father,
into
what are
the
these
woods
hard
in a hole.
brown things? And what is that coconut over there?
Great. Well, I'm
Don't
concerned.
you be worrying about that, son. You don't need to be worried about those things.
It's like a Australian that got lost in Georgia and then buried in a hole in Alabama for a while.
You can hear the dirt.
You can hear the dirt. That's welcome to Florida. You can hear the dirt.
That's what every Florida person says.
It's on our license plates. Well,
Welcome to Florida. You can hear the dirt.
well, since last episode, besides apparently coconut displays, Anthony Bresnikan at Entertainment Weekly had his yearly data dump of all things upcoming Star Wars film. Wasn't really on the radar, but it happened, and it was very exciting.
The dump is exciting.
Dumps are always exciting, especially when they have to do with Star Wars.
When they happen on you, at you, at you, around you. When
all right, enough with your dumps
happen.
So there was quite a lot of, I think it was like a 16-part series for the new issue of Entertainment Weekly that was Last Jedi is the cover story.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 parts.
11 parts.
11 pictures.
With pretty good chunks on most every main character, some ancillary characters, and even some locations.
2. I'm just going to keep counting.
I'm just going to count the whole episode.
1, 2, 3, 4.
This is
5,
the rabbit trails they talk about
6,
that they don't
7,
listen for, Michael.
8 parts.
8 parts. Well,
less than whatever I said before.
Yes.
12?
Actually,
what did I say before? Fewer. Less than that.
I don't listen to you. That's the whole gimmick. That's not a gimmick.
So we're going to split up these, whatever I said, parts into smaller parts. So it's easier to digest.
Probably from what we've looked at, there's much too much to talk about in one episode. So we're going to kind of break it down by
categories.
Resistance or light side, dark side, don't care side, ancillary side, whatever.
Light side, dark side, I don't know anymore side.
That's the whole point of the upcoming movie, Michael. You get it. That's the thing.
That I don't know anymore?
That they don't know anymore.
Oh, they don't know anymore?
Well, Luke doesn't know anymore.
Hot takes. They don't know what they're doing anymore.
That was in the teaser. Luke doesn't know what's up.
Yes, he does. He knows very well what's up.
He knows that he's done.
Yeah, he knows he's done. He's out of there.
Yeah.
Everything needs to stop.
Yep. And we'll get to that. So, figured we'd start with some of these Resistance-esque characters, moving more importantly towards Rey and Luke in the Jedi temple on his little island. So Leia, of course, we all know we've lost her, and she's not going to be in Episode 9. And so it was very interesting to hear some things that Rian Johnson was saying. There's some quotes from him about Leia. One, of course, Leia's story through all of the films has been one of loss, from planet to father to, now husband and son. And it's kind of been a shit show. And now the entire New Republic has been lost as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that you kind of there was just that people have been saying, oh, well, now like the Resistance is all there is left. And they're like the ones, they're handling things. And he's like, no, they're a tiny little group. They're barely able to pick up their own pieces at this point.
Right. Which is kind of what we saw after A New Hope with Empire, the movie. I mean, that, sure, the Death Star was destroyed, but there's still a giant empire out there. So there's still a giant First Order presence out there.
Mm-hmm.
Then they, like we saw in Force Awakens, they took out the Senate.
Yep.
Along with most of the fleet, apparently. That's what people are saying.
Yeah, and Johnson's saying we basically just pick up there with them kind of being on the run,
and the
picking
Resistance,
up their pieces because they don't have much left at this point.
Right. I mean, they're on their way out of Dakar,
mm-hmm.
I imagine.
And we know there's going to be a battle on Dakar, which we discussed previously in a previous episode.
Space battle.
Probably an attack from First Order coming to get back at them.
Yeah.
I'm guessing from destroying Starkiller Base.
Yeah.
And, so through all that, of course, they had this story in process with her, and, 8 was done by the time 9 was being written, and then she had to be written out of. And I always thought, they always mentioned how they had to do rewrites because Carrie Fisher had died. But then going into some quotes from Johnson where he's saying, there's no way we could have known this would have been the last Star Wars movie she would be in. So it's not like we made the film thinking that we were bringing closure to the character. But watching the film, there's going to be a very emotional reaction to what she does in this movie.
Yeah.
So if they had to work to write her out of episode 9, she was going to survive into episode 9, right?
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah.
So from that quote of an emotional response to what she does,
Do you think
in
she
this
leaves the
movie-
resistance?
Well, just what's an emotional response to what she does in this movie? Like what would that comes across as like a sacrificial, like she sacrifices herself for something type of thing.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think she relieves the resistance? She's not sacrificing her life. I don't
Yeah, if
think.
they had to write her out of 9, she has to continue to exist unless they work around that through story without having her to act out any pieces. If they rewrote anything for that specifically.
I'm thinking she either leaves the resistance or she there's some kind of I don't know, there's some kind of closure, like maybe with her and Ben, maybe with her and Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, along those lines. That she, I don't know, reconciles with Luke and like makes it clear that she's not upset at him for Ben. Because that's
Yeah.
another thing I've always wondered about. Like, is he separating himself because, he blames himself from what happened to Ben? I guess we are going to talk about that a little further on. So I'll kind of hint at it now.
Yeah.
But Luke is blaming himself for what happens to what happened to Ben, and what he did to the the new Jedi Order and everything that Luke was trying to start. So does he feel is part of the reason he's sequestering himself away because he thinks
He's
Leia might
responsible.
be upset at him for kind of leading her son.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, she does say Snoke was the one who took him away.
Yeah, I mean, from her perspective, Snoke seduced him to the dark side.
Yeah, but
She doesn't seem to be blaming Luke currently.
But does Luke
that.
know that?
She may have
so
been
maybe-
blaming Luke at one point.
Maybe, or at least maybe that was in Luke's mind, something like
Or
that.
yeah.
I'm just thinking of something that would mean there's something unresolved between those two that maybe could be resolved by the end of this movie. Some kind of closure like that. I mean, that would be
sort of
that'd be pretty
some sort of
emotional.
closure.
Something like that. I
Yeah,
don't
just
know.
that statement of, an emotional response to what she does in this film. I don't know, does as in like picking up all the pieces and bringing everyone back together of, I don't know, that reuniting with Luke and forgiving him or
Yeah.
forgiving Kylo for killing Han.
Yeah, I don't know.
I keep playing with the twist that Kylo comes back to the light side.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I know, but
I
keep
think he's
playing
gonna
with
be even deeper in the dark side now. He's gonna be angrier. It's gonna be
it. Well, the reason I keep thinking of all these
Better
weird things is
trained,
how much
maybe?
they've talked about how you don't know what no one knows what they're going to be getting out of this film. That hint they keep giving of, this film
Yeah.
is not what you think it is type of thing. That's where, like, now that we've had this, you and I have come to this, like, wish of what if Snoke's just this other
Right.
guy and then there's something even darker that's in charge?
yeah.
What if Kylo comes back to the light side and then you've got Kylo and Rey fighting this greater evil type of thing?
That's a
Like,
stretch.
I'm just like, there's all these things, like, it's
That's
not
a
what you
stretch.
expect. So I'm trying to come up with things that I expect, like, that they could do, but when I'm not supposed to be expecting anything. Yeah, that's where I keep coming. So, I mean, yeah, so the emotional response to what she does in this film, like you said, maybe forgiving Luke, or even, like I said, forgiving Ben for killing Han.
maybe.
Maybe it'll be interesting to see how they end her character, cinematically, for her to exist but not continue in the film.
Well, we're gonna find that out in 9, because this one was written and shot and everything while she was still around.
Yes,
So this is gonna end the way it would have ended.
unless they went back and redid something,
I don't know.
like, oh, she was on that ship and the ship blew up. I mean,
I don't think so. I don't know. But
it would seem.
I would think that this is going to end the way it would have ended if she was coming back for 9. You know?
That's from everything that's come out, it doesn't sound like they redid anything for 8.
That's what it
due to
seems
her
like.
death.
Yeah, that's what it seems
So-
like. But I mean, anyway, it'll be interesting to see because like you're saying, it sounds like there's some kind of finality in a way to her character, or
Like,
at
it's
least
almost like they planned for some type of finality because maybe they just have so much more to focus on,
for 9.
anyways, that they already had this planned. Like, she'll have a lesser role in 9 because
Or at least,
not going to be-
unintentional finality, something
yes,
that works.
unintentional.
Yeah,
And
be
now it
interesting to
probably
see what
just
that
means
is.
even more because of what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. So moving from Leia, one of a story of loss, we've got Chewbacca, who's lost, of course, his best friend and life companion, which we'll find out soon in the Han Solo film that may never be named and ever come out. When are they going to name that movie? Is it
It's
just
just
called
gonna
Han
be
Solo?
called Han
Is it just
Solo.
called Han Solo?
A Star Wars story. Yeah. Well, what else would it be
But they keep calling it the Untitled Han Solo film. Like, everything keeps calling it
A
that.
Smuggler's Journey. I don't know. It's the Smuggler Diaries. The Smuggler
Smugglerhood
Notebook.
of the Traveling Pants.
The Smuggler.
No? Is that not good?
Train smuggling.
Trains. I won't ask. Anyways, Chewbacca.
D2, a smuggling day.
Chewie, of
Why
course,
is it starting to
lost
sound like
Han.
Juggalo?
Juggalo?
I don't know. I keep
Yeah,
thinking
kind of.
Juggalo.
And I guess something I had missed originally in some of these announcements is that Chewbacca is now fully played by Juna Suotamo, with Peter Mayhew not reprising the role at all, which, I mean, physically...
Google Drive says that's not a word.
Hmm?
Suotamo. It's not a word.
That's his name.
Oh, well, it's not a word.
Okay.
Anyway.
They wants to autocorrect it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. So,
Did
Peter
you mean
Mayhew...
Suotome?
Peter Mayhew no longer playing Chewbacca, which, I mean, of course, in Force Awakens, all he could really do was sit in the Falcon cockpit because he can't really walk without a cane.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad to think that he won't be Chewbacca at all in the film.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the new guy did a great job with all of his acting scenes of Chewbacca. Yes, that's all he did was go. Bleh. I don't
What?
know.
It's all ADR.
The noises are. I don't think the ADR is body movement and
You don't think so?
the emotional, acting.
Have you seen what you can do in Photoshop these days?
Star Wars is just all Photoshop.
Basically.
There's just a box that's been cut around.
That's
Chewbacca,
all these
and he's
movies
just
are
the,
these
The
days.
squares just hopping across the film.
Just
as
a bunch of
Chewbacca's running.
Photoshop.
All right, Grandpa, calm down. You can't even see the strings anymore. Anyways, Chewbacca, fully played by...
Where's the houses falling on people?
Suotamo.
Where's the train coming straight at you? These movies suck these days.
There's not even an organ up front playing the music for you. Bunch of bullshit. So, Chewbacca, Han Solo's dead. There is grief. And they just mentioned that we're not going to see a depressed Chewie, but a more volatile Chewie, I guess. Which will be interesting. It'll be interesting because I think Chewie will actually be more of a character than he's ever been.
More volatile makes him more of a character?
No, I was just thinking of 8. I think Chewie will be more of an actual character in a way than he's been. Because he's always been a sidekick.
Because he's been separated.
He's running
now he's
around or
separated
shooting
from
something,
Han?
but I think we'll actually get some like scenes of like when have we ever had just like a scene of Chewbacca doing something?
You think
or
we'll have
being
that? I
Well,
mean, he's
we know
with Rey.
we know he has a scene with a Porg. We got that. We know that's coming. Maybe he's gonna be comforted by
Well, he had a
King
scene.
Porg
He had a scene with 3PO at Empire.
pulling him off a conveyor belt and
Yeah,
slapping
building
some
him. That
Ugnaughts.
was all. That was all, and taking him back and trying to build him and stuff. That was all Chewie.
Yes, but there wasn't like a character driven thing, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't.
Like,
How is that not character driven? It's Chewie building something. I don't know.
it's Chewie putting together a Lego set. I mean, that's not. I mean, like an emotional, like having an arc, like Chewie having an arc of a story.
Oh, He's the family dog.
Basically. I don't know. I was just thinking about the fact that we'll probably have more of an emotionally involved Chewie than we've had.
Yeah.
In a way, which is, I can't really picture that because we haven't had it.
I think he's still going to be a sidekick because he's with Rey.
He's with Rey and
This whole time.
and R2
Mhm.
and the Porgs.
Yeah.
Because those are there
Yeah.
forever. But Johnson says, Chewie's doing all right. It's tough. It was a big loss for him, but he's resilient. He's got broad Wookiee shoulders and also has a new mission. He's got Rey, and she's someone that Han, to a certain extent, handed the keys to, so that helps. So basically, he's, basically just caring for Rey at this point.
Yeah.
Because Han liked her, so Han saw something in her.
Right.
Because, she's his daughter.
That's what I mean. He's not.
What?
I don't see. Excuse me.
Nothing. Just like to whisper stupid Rey theories just under my breath while we transition to something completely different.
Well, I forget what I'm gonna say now.
Sorry. So I don't know. I think it will be interesting to see Chewie, I don't know, almost come into his own because he's been with Han since he's in Han's 20s, 15s. We don't know how early at this point, but probably around his late teens.
Yeah.
Late to mid-teens, something like that.
Well, in Wookiee years, probably.
Well, Han, so I'm saying Han being like a mid to late teens,
yeah.
something like that. Early 20s.
Early 20s, probably.
So it'll be interesting to see Chewie more finding his own, caring for Rey or doing something of his own volition.
Finding himself.
Yeah, he's finding himself.
Finding the Chewie that was
Porgs.
always inside.
Which I like that, they keep talking about, there's like
Suppressed.
this book coming out, Chewie and the Porgs and all that. But if you've seen that picture that people keep throwing around of Chewie in a cockpit with a feather in his mouth, stuck in his mouth.
Like he was eating
Like a
a
porg,
porg?
like he was eating a porg. Yeah. So I really hope he just eats porgs. That's his outlet when he gets to Acto
Man, how great would that be?
to get over the loss of Han. Is he just eats them like popcorn? He's just popping them, chasing them down.
Little poppers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like poplars from Futurama.
Mm-hmm.
Just the little babies. He's just munching
Just
them up.
popping them in there.
Yeah.
Man, how great would that be?
Just
Imagine if Chewie ate the Ewoks.
unrelated, weird, just destructive massacre scene of Chewie just blood covered in pork blood, ripping them apart and rubbing them on his face. Is that what you want?
Yeah. Well, sort of. I think it would be great to have the entire, Acto stuff happen, and then towards the end he just starts eating all the porgs that he sees.
They're leaving. He starts putting them in a picnic basket, he's packing up to snacks for the ride home.
He just starts eating them, and it's not anything super gory. He just starts eating them. Can you
apples, he's
imagine how
He's holding
surreal
one in
that
his
would
hand,
be?
sitting there talking to someone with a bite taken out of it. It's
Imagine how
twitching.
surreal that would be.
Yes, it would. That's why it
great.
probably won't happen. But it would be really funny.
That'd be great. Moving on to
Han Solo. Untitled Han Solo. Yeah. So
Han Solo, the guy who really died.
that's a horrible theme song for Han Solo.
What? I thought it was great.
It's sad.
That's the truth.
He's gone, supposedly.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
What do you mean supposedly?
I like how long it takes you to catch these things. It's fantastic.
These theories.
So with Han, there's a lot of Rey involvement with Han's death, and just the fact that so Rey has this feeling that this kind of father figure, since he kind of stood up for her and didn't try to baby her type thing, like Finn was trying to hold her hand and come with me because you're a woman, and then Han was just like, here's a gun, yeah, I know, you're good,
Yeah.
type of thing. So she doesn't understand Kylo killing his father when Rey didn't have parents at all. And so that makes no sense to her, which makes her, just even more angry at Kylo for what he's done. And then Johnson went on to say that even though Han Solo's character is dead, he said, the ghost of, well, not literally, because obviously he has to throw that out before anyone freaks the hell out on the internet. He said, I don't want to misguide. I have to be very careful with my words here, but a figurative ghost of Han has to be present throughout this entire film.
All right. Yeah,
Which I'm guessing is just
makes
the
sense.
essence of him with
Yeah.
You've got the Falcon still, you've got Chewie,
Mhm.
you've got Rey being angry about Kylo killing her father when she had no father type of thing.
Right.
Unless, that was her father and now he killed both of their fathers.
It's true.
It's probably not true. 'Cause she's nobody.
Moving on.
It'll be interesting.
Oh, not moving on.
No, with Han being dead, because he's gone. Han Solo's not in the Star Wars movies anymore.
Yes. Okay.
That will be weird.
Well,
And-
in the 2 movies probably that are in this story, that are
Yeah.
left in this story, I mean.
Yes.
So he's been there for most of them.
Do you think there were any I
think
do you think there will be any flashbacks of Han in Kylo's childhood?
I think flashbacks for Han in childhood.
Yes.
No.
End sentence.
No, not in this movie.
No, not at all.
No.
You don't think there will be any flashback to childhood
For Han?
for Kylo's childhood, not Han's childhood?
Oh, you said
No.
Han.
No, I said with Han for Kylo's
You said childhood with Han.
Kylo's childhood with Han.
Okay, that's better. More
Yes.
like it. Maybe.
Maybe.
All right, moving on.
Fine.
No,
Moving
I
on
don't
to
know. I mean-
moving on to the good stuff.
I don't know. It's hard to talk about Han because it doesn't. There really isn't much you can do. I mean, you know that he's like Ryan's saying, his shadow is going to be kind of imprinted on it, or it has been imprinted on everybody. There's really not much more you can do with that. I mean, we know that there's going to be Leia's going to have to deal with this somehow. We haven't seen that really.
Yeah.
We're going to see Rey, I'm sure, bring it up a bunch of times. We're going to see Luke finding out, or not finding out, but hearing.
I mean, he already knows. I'm
Right.
assuming.
Right. That's going to be brought up with Luke, I should say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think
I
there's really going to be
I
anything.
just wondered if you thought we'd see him like actual scenes that were shot.
Flashbacks
at
like
all.
that, they don't really fit in Star Wars movies, I think.
Unless they're visions, I guess not.
I mean, you've got the flashback sort of with Jin in Rogue One
Yeah.
in the very beginning, but that's not really that wasn't a flashback, actually. That was
just
it was just them.
the rest of the movie was a flash forward.
Sure.
Is that how that works?
But I mean, a character remembering things in the past
Yeah.
and then us seeing that. We don't really see that in Star Wars movies.
It's not like that like wave wash over the screen that fades to like a sitcom like dream sequence.
I remember the day like it was yesterday.
Hey son, it's the 50s. Or whatever time period they were.
That's the 50s music.
I would assume. It's just a guy doing that. Just in a corner.
In the corner.
With like a megaphone, like just a rolled up newspaper yelling into it. Sure.
You guys got any quarters?
Oh, I don't know what's happened to us this episode.
Next.
Next. Like we're just like next. Get on with it.
We know
So-
all this already. We talked about. We know all this stuff.
I know we've talked about it. We actually haven't
We have
talked
to
about
put
it.
it on the show.
We actually haven't talked about it that much. So Rey, going from her being angry about Han being all dead and
All right.
stuff.
This is interesting.
You're finally interested. You're finally with me.
I've been with you.
You're in on this part. So, John, there's a lot of interesting quotes about Rey and then going into Luke and just. Johnson was saying, to me, it's important insofar as it's important to her, like what, about Rey's past, like how it's mattered so much to fans. And Johnson's like, it matters to me because it matters to her. Otherwise, like it wouldn't be a thing.
Well,
And
if you
just
think
it's-
about that, though, here's what's interesting.
Mhm.
If you think about that, what matters to her isn't exactly who her parents are and all the other stuff that people have been arguing about, but it's what do I do now?
Yes. So it's
That's
her.
what
It's
matters
her,
to her right
It's
now.
her trying to find her place in this situation that
Right.
she's just been thrust into. And
So
has
we are
no idea what the hell is going on.
probably not going to get very clear answers on all the stuff that has been asked about her heritage and all this junk.
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe, or I guess confirms what we've already talked about, that she is nobody.
Well, I mean, Johnson says she was told in the last movie that the answer's not in the past; it's looking forward. But she showed up on this island to talk to this hero from the past.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't. I don't know if it. I mean, we keep saying this. It doesn't matter who she is, right?
She's a
she
nobody.
has the Force. I think there will be a given reason as to why she was dumped on.
Maybe there might be a secret around that, but as far as her parents
Why
go,
she was dumped on, Jakku.
Jakku.
I kept wanting to say Jeddah, but that's not the right planet.
No.
On Jakku, there may be a given reason as to why that happened, but I don't think she has to be. Like we keep saying, there doesn't have to be a relation.
Yeah, like her
Just
actual.
the fact that I think she may have been dumped there because they knew that she had the Force and needed to be hidden, maybe.
Yes.
But who she came from doesn't really matter. That's not the part that
Right.
matters.
Her actual bloodline probably is inconsequential. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but her.
She came from an egg. Like a literal, like dinosaur shaped
An egg.
egg. Yeah.
Yep.
That's what happened.
They laid it on the ship and she cracked out of it.
She was shat out of space in a giant space egg and then was birthed into the desert.
Yes.
And then she scavenged.
Mm-hmm.
That's her life. Little did she know.
It might as well be
She
because
was
it
a space
doesn't
egg.
matter.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. So yeah, it's interesting. So he was saying that, you can be told the answer's not in the past, but she still has a hope that she's going to like find that thing that says, this is where you belong, this is who you are.
Mhm.
And that she holds on to that thought that where she comes from will help define where she's going. And like we're saying, that's not what matters.
Right.
Where she comes from doesn't matter where she's going. It's what she does now that she has what she knows what she knows.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do with that?
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah. And then Daisy really was saying, it's wonderful that it's not cut and dry, that, who's good and who's bad. And that's not me saying, oh my God, some people are going to go bad. There's always room for bad people to make good decisions and vice versa. Again, that could be nothing to do with your parents and it could be everything to do with your parents.
Yeah, it's
Like,
very, very gray.
It's all very gray. Like, and I know that Pablo and all those people hate the term like gray Jedi that everyone was coming up with a few months back of that non-Jedi.
Yeah.
You're not Sith, you're not Jedi, you're in the middle like Ahsoka where they have a white lightsaber and it's a gray Jedi.
Yeah.
Which Pablo got super frustrated with people with that term. But
Why?
there is that, because that's not.
Are you saying we had an
You
opportunity?
either are a Jedi or you are not a Jedi. Like there's not a gray Jedi. You're just a Force person. You're just a person that knows the Force like any other goddamn person that has the Force in them and took any time to try to train in.
Are you
right?
saying we had an opportunity for that tweet and we missed it?
No, that was months and months ago where he was like, "Shut up, everybody."
Oh.
And that's not what he said, but
Well, it happens like once a week with him, though.
that's if you were him, would you not just be yelling "shut up" constantly at everyone?
Well,
for all
yes,
time?
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not criticizing him. I'm just saying.
But I like that statement again of nothing is cut and dry. There's not necessarily a good and a bad, and bad people can do good things and good people can do bad things. It's not like, oh, the Sith are always evil and they always do the bad stuff, and all the Jedi are all holy and they can only do good, which the Jedi were hardly ever actually good people.
Yeah.
It's something I was listening to the other day where someone was saying there's a difference between being good and being like good or nice and being polite. Like you can be polite but be a total asshole or just a bad person.
Yeah.
So you can be nice, but you could just be like a Jedi who are just total dicks and really just take over the situation anyways for whatever their own purpose was.
Yeah.
And then the bad guys were just bad guys. They didn't really give a shit.
Well, we've said that before, right? About how the Jedi were ultimately good, or at least they had good intentions.
Like any religion. I mean,
well, some religions have good intentions, sure.
Yeah. Like,
Not all.
for the people in the religion, they think they are doing what they are supposed to be doing, but end up a lot of times hurting other people.
Well, no, but there's a difference here, though, in that they what they thought they were supposed to be doing actually was good in a sense.
The way they went about it was
Guarding
not
peace and
great.
justice. I mean, that's
Yes.
good in a sense. It's how they go about it.
How they done going about it. How they carried it out was poor.
Bad,
to say
yeah.
the least.
And the order was full of people who just took it to the extreme. And, whether it was the extreme of I'm going to be the best guard ever,
Yeah.
or I'm going to be the most removed person ever, or, whatever.
Yeah.
Wasn't always great.
Yes.
But then there were people that were okay, like, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Others.
Plo Koon.
Yoda.
Plo Koon was good. He was a good guy.
Yes, true. And Shakti was okay, and others peoples. Yoda is one of them.
Literally dozens. Yeah, but Ridley goes on to say that, she thinks, if she knew who her parents were, there might be a little bit more peace in moving forward. But ultimately, what's coming is coming, and whatever abilities she has are there. So personally, I think it's less important than even she may think. So even the actress is saying, like, it doesn't matter, everybody. Stop only talking about that.
Stop talking about it.
And then, yeah, so one thing Ridley said to expect is that no one falls easily onto the good or bad side. There's always potential to change for better or for worse.
Oh, your stupid Kylo theory comes back again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. From some of the stuff I've been reading, and they're like, you don't know where it's going. I keep thinking, what if we find out who this big badass is? Kylo turns, and then you've got this like trio of Jedi-ish
I
people fighting whatever this thing is.
That seems too crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think about Luke going bad?
Luke
quote unquote?
going bad?
Quote unquote.
That would be insane. If that actually happened, people would shit their minds out of their ass.
I think I would be pretty angry. I'd be a little bit angry. I'd be really interested to see where it was
I would
going.
be so excited while it was happening in the theater. Like, oh my God, what the hell? And then afterwards, I'd be like, what the fucking what?
What the hell? What the hell?
After I was done shitting my mind out of my ass, I would put it back in my mind hole and realize, wait a minute, no, that doesn't make sense.
Up your bee butt.
Up my bee butt. Thanks. That's a word.
Up your A
Sure.
butt.
No, I don't. Luke could not. They could not do that and get away with it, right?
You'd be all like, oh my God. And then you'd be like, oh my God.
You'd be like, oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my
But
God.
literally, they could not get away with that, right? Like that.
my God.
People would be too angry if that happened.
Oh my God.
That's not anger, I don't think.
What's that?
So they couldn't get away with
What are we
that.
talking about?
They could not get away with Luke going
I don't
dark.
know. I'm just trying to throw
People
stuff
would
out there.
be too angry, right? Right?
Hmm?
Right?
Oh my God.
Well, apparently it excites you. Only you.
Oh.
So moving from Rey to Luke.
Oh God.
Jeez. I don't need your orgasmic blowout.
Okay.
All right, now that that's been rubbed out, whatever. So Rey and Luke. So of course we all know that Luke says, "I only know one truth. It's time for the Jedi to end." That's pretty damn big statement for him to make that we've all been talking
one
about for
truth.
a while.
That's incredible.
That's the only thing he knows for sure is the Jedi must
Yeah.
end.
That's incredible.
From there, the hot dogs are okay. That's I don't know what else. What else does he got?
I only know one truth.
I guess hot dogs.
Two
are good.
lies.
This is while they're around the campfire. He starts playing these. All right, two truths and a lie, or two lies and a truth.
Wait, it is two.
One
truths
of
and a
these
lie.
is a truth.
I only know
The
one
Jedi
truth.
must end. Hot dogs are okay. Porgs.
My penis.
just porgs is the third. For whatever reason.
My penis is made of bologna.
How long has he been on this island? So Mark Hamill was saying when he first read that line that his jaw dropped. Like Hamill saying, what could make someone that alienated from his original convictions? That's not something you just make up in an afternoon. And he actually, as an actor, he actually struggled with like, what Like coming into this, like I knew my character
Yeah.
because he wasn't even in the first one really, other than staring for a couple minutes. So he comes into this character of, you know, seeing his arc in the original films and having this like growth to be like, I'm a badass Jedi now. And then suddenly he comes back and he's like, Jedi suck, or whatever his truth is that they must end.
I don't Jedi suck.
Maybe he says that too. Maybe he struggled with that line because it makes sense to struggle with that line.
I don't Jedi suck.
Eating ain't cheating. So he's, you know, so even the actor struggled with that line, which I think is pretty cool from a character's perspective of him, you know, being so involved in that character and it being so different to him. And then, of course, you have Rey coming into the situation, and she's so, you know, hopeful and be like, oh, here's that guy we've all been looking for, and he knows all the answers. And then Ridley says there's that hint of what the hell? Just like she suffered abandonment issues her entire life. She loses Han, and then she shows up, and this guy's like, no, Jedi need to end. I don't want to train you. Please go away now.
Right.
And that's probably how she's met on this island. So, you know, regardless of everything else, she's been welcomed. No one ever really turns away from her. So it will be interesting to see. And I mean, we've talked about that dynamic of her showing up and Luke being like, I can't, I won't, because of this and this and this and whatever reasons he has as to why the Jedi must end. And, you know, so, you know, she said, like Daisy Ridley says, she shows up on this island, and instead of this, you know, hero, she's got like some grumpy old man who's just like, I'm not doing it.
No.
Yes. Yeah.
No.
So
yes.
And so, of course, Daisy and Mark go into this thing where she's like, you know, I don't think one girl who he doesn't know turning up with the lightsaber is going to make him go, oh, shit. Yeah, of course. I'll get back into the action. And then Mark Hamill says, but does he know her? But does he not know her? Of course, Mark being Mark, always playing to his audience of
Mr. Troll.
Yeah, the super internet troll. He can't. Luke can't know who she is. Like, I don't know. Does Luke know who she is, but she doesn't matter? Like, she's nobody.
Yeah.
Do you think Luke knows who she is prior to her showing up? Do you think he probably felt.
Okay, here's what I think.
He probably felt her.
All right.
He felt her awakening. That still sounds bad. When she awoke, he was feeling her. Wait, no. Crap. There's no good way to say this sentence.
Keep trying.
While he was feeling, she awoke. Dang it, no. I can't. There's no way to say that good at any point.
All right, here's what I think. I think that he is not going to recognize her at first. He's just going to be like, go away. I don't know who you are. I don't know what this is. You don't know me, blah, blah, blah. I think he's going to come to find out that she is some kid that maybe he either heard about a while ago or maybe even met at some point. But there was never like
he knows
enough time.
Wait a minute, you were dumped on Jakku.
Yes.
I think
he might know the story, maybe like a general story of her background or something like that. But I don't think he actually knows her.
Like, there was never a personal relationship.
He never brought, like,
otherwise, because she was dumped on Jakku at like, what, it was like 6 or 8, something like that. She would remember him.
Young, yeah.
She would remember him.
I think he, I don't know, well, we talked about before how we've always thought that maybe she was part of the academy and, the thing that Luke tried to set up, but.
Yeah.
And now I'm wondering, I don't know, it doesn't seem like that would work for someone that he already knows and possibly has trained a little bit to now just show up again and, oh, hey, can you train me some more? Like, I don't know if that...
I would say he probably felt the awakening of the Force when she showed up on the scene, grabbed the lightsaber, all of that happened. I'm assuming he felt that interaction, that rift in the Force.
Maybe.
If you will. So he probably even knows she's coming, which is why he's standing up there. Because he probably felt that he felt he felt the
if
Force.
Snoke can feel it, if Snoke felt it, then I'm sure Luke felt it. Yeah.
So I mean, he knows she's coming, but yeah, whether he actually knows of her, I think is the question. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like you said, I don't think it really matters that he knows exactly who she is, but maybe knows
Because again, she's
knows of
probably
why
just
she
a
was
nobody.
on Jakku, or knows of why she has these Force powers.
Yeah.
Unless that's a story we get through visions from the temple or something like that.
Yeah. Again, she's probably just a nobody, and that's fine. And we're
Yes.
all okay with that. Right?
The
We're
internet
all
would
fine
say
with
no. Everyone wants her to be the blood
Well, who
daughter
gives a flying
of
shit about the
of
internet?
Everyone.
The
All of
flying-
them. All of them
flying
had.
what?
Huh?
The flying daughter of every. What did you say?
The blood daughter of everyone. Like just everyone we've ever known. She's related to all of them, and she has to be because that's the way the internet thinks.
Well, you know.
And I don't get the obsession with her parents because I don't think it matters at all. Like we keep saying,
We know that.
rational
it doesn't
people know
matter.
that. I don't. Of course, watch like the first 10 minutes of the movie. There's just a huge revelation that she's like the daughter of Yoda's cousin. Or, I don't know.
Yoda's cousin.
Something. She's Unkar Plutz.
I think it doesn't matter who she is and who her parents are, and that's
she's
fine.
just a good character that is now realizing she has these powers.
I mean, maybe she's a character that we're gonna learn about. Go figure.
What?
Through the movie.
Who does that in a film setting ever?
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Yeah, it's a movie.
we're running out of time.
It's a movie, you all. So on Acto, there is the first Jedi temple, which Johnson says touches on mystical, history, but doesn't dive deeply into creating a whole galactic religion, which is kind of interesting. But there will be elements on Acto that deepen the mythology. He says, hopefully it will be fun to discover in the context of the movie. My notion was this is a place that goes all the way back. This is where the cave paintings are. He said he had to resist the urge to make it look too clean or modern, make it look primitive,
Interesting.
things like that. So it's, the foundation of where things all started. This is the first Jedi temple. There's actual literal paper books in there and
Wow.
a tree.
Yeah.
There's not, it's interesting. So one, that's probably
Pretty incredible.
a hell of a powerful place force-wise.
Probably.
And it will be interesting to see what interaction we get with that with Rey coming into the Force.
Yeah.
Like vision-wise or understanding-wise of the Force.
Right.
I think we've talked about this a while back, just learning more about the actual Force now and not so much just like the Force is the thing, accept that, and then here's all the characters. Like
Yeah.
the Force will hopefully be more of an actual character, if you will, an explanation of, I don't know, some more explanation of the actual Force itself.
Well, yeah, like
And-
we've always been saying, it's going to be like an expansion of what we know about the Force. Like it's not just Jedi and Sith.
That's hopefully where
know.
that's going.
Yeah, it's like the natural light side of the Force and the dark side of the Force. There's a bunch of facets and places in between.
Yeah. And it's
so we're gonna find out
like
more about
midichlorians were described from, I think it was from Dave Filoni, I think, described describing the midichlorians. Like you can learn kung fu, like you can go and learn karate,
Yeah,
and be pretty good at it.
but there are people who
But
are
like
more
Jet
naturally
Li-
inclined.
But like Jet Li is
Yeah.
like naturally inclined,
Right.
and not because of his race, internet. He is naturally inclined and is very, very good at it. And even though he has trained, but you could train as much as Jet Li trained, and you will never be as good as him.
Yeah,
Even though you train the exact same amount, he will be better than you because that is just what he is good at.
now are you thinking of Bruce Lee or Jet Li?
Yeah, all of the Asians. that was the racist part, by the way. Any of them. I mean, Jet Li,
I think you're thinking of Bruce Lee.
Jet Li's fantastic too.
He's a good martial artist, but
Jackie
probably
Chan.
not good as Jet
um,
Li. I mean Bruce Lee.
Now
No, you got me doing it.
No, but I think it's that, it comes back to people hate midichlorians. That's fine. But I like it under that explanation of the Force is in everything. And that's been explained down the line. The
Yeah,
Force is in
yeah.
everything. You can learn to use the Force. I mean, we have Chirrut who can use the Force because he's blind as hell, but he can kick some ass because he can feel the Force and use the Force, but he's not like
Feel the connection
he's
to
not
the Force.
shooting,
Sure.
he's not pushing people across rooms or anything like that.
Yes.
But he
right.
can feel the Force and connect with the Force.
Sure.
But he's not a Jedi type
Yeah.
of thing. So there's the Force is in everything, and there's not, like we keep saying, there's
There's
not
this in
necessarily.
between.
Now there is a good and the
people.
bad. There are polar opposites of it because we have the daughter and the son from the Clone Wars series
Mhm.
of the
Yeah.
Force, where
Right.
there are these very polar ends of the spectrum. But you, like we've said, to be a Jedi, you don't have to have this emotional disconnect, which then just creates this pent up dicketry of being a Jedi, or just have this
Pent up dicketry.
full on, or the dark side where you have the just full on unrelenting dicketry, where it's just the never ending dick.
You know.
The never ending dicketry.
You know.
There can be a medium of like you can have emotions and be a good guy in the Force. You can have emotions and not lightning strike people every time your item won't ring up at the 7-Eleven in space.
Space 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven.
Space 11.
Yeah, so I mean,
there are in betweens. There are not these. It doesn't have to be these two extremes.
and that's what we keep saying, and hopefully that's where Luke goes with this. The Jedi must end thing it's not
this is more
the
of
Jedi must end, but not the use of the Force. There's another way. There's a better way to do things, which hopefully he found.
Sure.
Hopefully he found in the
Although,
teachings at the first
if you
temple
think about
as to
it-
why that is.
But if you think about it, see,
Well, if you think about any scriptures, like biblical scriptures, how they started as one thing, and then a lot of religions have taken them and kind of warped them into like how they weren't meant to be.
well, yeah, I mean, you can take a passage from the Bible and you can make it fit your worldview.
Yes,
When
which
that's
I
not
think
without-
from where it started at this first temple, the Jedi.
Yeah, without
It has
considering it
twisted to
in
this-
context or
yes.
something. Yes.
So I'm hoping
Right.
he found like what he found at the first temple was like the Jedi totally misconstrued this and changed it into something it was never meant to be.
Or just over time, it's been, just
Or,
adding on BS after BS, and
Yeah.
you're just left with a bunch of BS. But
true.
if you, what I'm trying to reconcile is if Luke came from this terrible tragedy with his academy and Ben kind of betraying him and all this stuff, would he even want to continue teaching people?
Yeah.
Forget the Jedi Order. We understand why
Because he
wouldn't
knows
want to
how
be
hard
associated with
he knows
that.
how hard it is to fall one way or the other.
But yeah, what about
Or how easy it is to fall
even
one way or the other.
teaching the ways of the Force? Would he even go that far at this point?
Because he knows how easy it is to fall into
Temptation,
those opposites of like
maybe. Yeah, it could be
either
one
way you fall
reason.
into being a dick, whether it's for
Yeah.
good intentions or for horrible intentions.
Whatever the reason may be, it could be that or something else. But would he even be willing to teach that at this point? It sounds like no.
Yeah, I think that's where it starts. Is the Jedi need to end, and from what I've seen, there's no one. You're going to screw up. Like the Force takes so much willpower that you're going to
Maybe.
fall to the darkness because it's so enticing, or So there's no what's the point anymore? What's the point if it's either one thing or the other? What's the point if we can't just find this middle ground? Why even bother anymore?
Yeah, maybe.
Which that's hopefully what we find out. So on the first temple, and I think we had discussed this a while back. Of course, we found out about porgs, and we were talking about the buildings on Acto, like those ruins, weren't there supposed to be a race of people on the island?
Yeah, there was something from somewhere that said there were these creatures that took care of Luke.
Yeah.
And the first life we found out about on Acto were these porg things.
And that didn't make
we were like,
a lot
that
of sense.
doesn't make sense.
Like
There has to be something else.
Fish from the wall. I don't. What are they?
So come to find out, there's this other race
Mhm.
called the Caretakers.
Yeah.
That are on Acto that actually were the ones who built all the huts and everything that we've seen.
They are space nuns.
Did they build the temple too?
That's a good question. Depends on how. They're like these fish bird aliens, and they look like space nuns.
Basically.
They look like alien nuns.
Uh-huh.
So they've been there for thousands of years, says Johnson, and they essentially keep up the structures on the island. they're of course more anthropomorphic than porgs, and they're animated with a person inside, which is kind of cool. So they are practical characters. They're not animatronics or anything like that.
Yeah.
They wear clothes and they speak in alien tongue. They are all Johnson says they are all female, and I wanted them to feel like a remote sort of little nunnery.
They communicate with Luke.
Yes,
which is one big thing, and apparently they aren't
like a blubbery sort of Scottish fish talk. He says is how they talk.
That'll be pretty interesting.
And that they tolerate Luke's presence.
Yeah, they're not super psyched to have him. Like they're not his little fangirls or whatever.
Yeah, they're not like, oh, Jedi's back, let's take care of him. They're just like, fine, you can stay. We're not gonna kick you out, but
and we'll care for you.
Don't break anything.
Right.
don't touch the rocks. Right. They've been there like that for thousands of years.
Exactly.
That's my favorite rock. Just stay up on your corner and we'll take care of our deal.
Right.
So they're like these matronly creatures, and they have skinny little bird feet, he says. And they are a Neil Scanlan design, which if you look at any of Neil Scanlan's characters, they look almost exactly like any Neil Scanlan character. They all have that. They all have that like flat nose with the slits and like leathery skin look. That's pretty much every Neil Scanlan character. Which, I mean, they're cool looking characters, but he has a design, and that's definitely one of his.
So it sounds. Yeah, I'm looking through the notes here. It sounds like they are not necessarily force sensitive creatures, like not necessarily.
I mean, I wonder if they were guardians
like
of the temple at any point. I mean, the temple's there, so obviously they know the temple's there. Did they have something to do with it thousands of years ago?
In the notes from this article, it talks about how the Force probably drew this race because the Force, like you were saying earlier, because the Force is so strong around this temple and the structures and everything, it probably drew this race up out of the ocean, and they just kind of evolved into these land/sea creatures that now live on this island.
Since from sometime even after the temple was derelict.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but a long time ago, basically.
Yeah.
So
in a galaxy far, far away. Got it. Sure.
But I mean, it sounds like that doesn't necessarily mean that these are like the first proto Force users. You know,
No,
you know what I mean?
They're
Like
just caretakers of the island.
Yeah.
They're not anything super special.
Right. Right.
No.
They're not like Luke. I doubt is learning anything from them. You know.
If anything, it's just someone to talk to, and they'll tolerate talking to them.
Sure.
Probably.
Yeah, that's what it sounds
like.
And
they'll share some fish bread that they make every once in a while.
Fish bread.
When he needs a cup of sugar to, I don't know, sprinkle on a porg. That's where he goes.
All right, well, I think we run out of time.
Yeah. So next episode, we're gonna get into some of the ancillary characters. Well, not really ancillary. I mean, Finn's a big deal. Like
movie Star Wars.
So you've got Finn, you've got Rose, you've got Poe, you've got...
Yeah, I really want to talk about Finn and Rose's new mission.
Definitely.
And how they... Like the dynamic between...
The dynamic
Finn,
they've talked about
we've
Finn
talked about before
Rose.
A bunch of times about how Finn is probably just like, screw this, I don't know what to do anymore. Everyone's gone off and has their own stuff now.
So him trying to figure out what he wants to do now.
Yeah, I've left the First Order. I don't fit in there. I don't necessarily fit in with the Resistance. So what do I do? That dynamic between this person who's probably like super excited about the Resistance.
Yeah, Rose, who's like, you know, been a part of the Resistance and saw Finn like, oh, you ran away from being a stormtrooper and you're a hero from what you just did with Rey and all that. Of course, we've got that. We've got Poe. There's stuff about Admiral Holdo and DJ, and then into the First Order with Kylo and Snoke, who we've talked endlessly about, and then a little bit about Phasma.
Yep.
So stay tuned to next episode when we talk more about those. And in the meantime, there may be more information released.
Yep.
So we've
probably more this week because that's how it works apparently, because this all came out like the
on
day
a Tuesday.
after.
They put articles out that ruin our episodes on Wednesdays.
Yes.
And then our episodes come out the following Monday, and it's been a week and no one cares anymore. So enjoy knowing more than us.
It shows in our numbers.
Sure. We'll just be a live radio show on the AM, and we'll get so many more listeners, Michael. At 3 a.m. On the AM 95.2.
I'd like to call in about this Star Wars. Where can I get a Star Wars?
Is this Fred again?
Fred, you're killing me.
You're killing us, Fred. The only one that calls. All right. If you want to talk to us, you can find us on Twitter at Hokey_religion. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us at email. That's a site you go to.
Go to email.com/HokeyReligion.
Yes. You can contact us at AskLobot@HokeyReligion.com. You can find us on YouTube and anywhere else that sounds are made. If you really enjoy the show, please go on iTunes and leave us a review with as many stars as you deem appropriate. The more reviews, the more easy it is for people to find us, so that you don't actually have to physically tell someone you like the show. You can just let them find it by you having left a review.
We all know
Anonymity and sharing your...
We all know that doesn't work as well, though.
Well,
if you have a friend... I had to cough. If you had a friend, or you still have a friend, if you had a friend at one point...
If you have a friend you don't want anymore,
reconnect with that friend to tell them about Hokey Religion and then alienate them once again. Or if you currently have a friend, or more than one, if you are a special, rich, crazy person.
If you've bought more than 3 friends... pay them to leave us a review.
Or just listen to the show. That would also be good.
That would be helpful.
Listen to the show. If you don't like it, then leave us a review that you don't like it. There you go. Kill 2 birds with one stone.
Kill all the birds.
Scratch my back. Scratch my back. With a review and listening to my podcast.
If you really like the show, you can go to patreon.com/HokeyReligion and support us by becoming a patron. When you do that, it not only helps us make the show better as the money goes back into the show, but if we do get to a certain goal, we are going to release 2 episodes, the only 2 episodes of our original podcast called Plug and Play. That was a tech news podcast that was from a god-awful amount of time ago when we were but children, and it's horrible.
It's unbearable to
So help us get to that goal.
I don't know if you want to.
I want to put it out just so that you will have to sit through what we made.
No, I mean,
because I don't even want to sit through it.
It's a level of unbearable where it passes like ironic enjoyment, and it's just
I cannot listen for more than like 5 minutes before shutting it off and just being angry at my existence.
Yes, very embarrassed.
It's the
wondering what we were thinking,
it's the
why
worst
we
thing
did
I've
this.
ever done. I have pictures of myself as a teenager with emo flat iron bangs that are less embarrassing than that podcast. So
with your giant silver watch and stuff
I don't
like
remember.
That. Didn't you have like giant silver like player watch?
No, I did not.
You did at one point,
watch.
didn't
I had
you?
a calculator watch because I was that cool.
No, but you had it. I've seen it. I remember. Didn't you have
just
a
a
giant
regular silver fossil watch? Was that rich? Was that
that's
rich
like a
to
giant
you?
player.
Did you not own watches as a child?
Oh, no.
My family didn't have watches. We just licked our finger and looked at the sun.
Actually, funny story about that. I used to look through.
Oh, it's already started.
I used to look through watch catalogs and pick out watches that looked cool.
And then
like
you cut
I
them
knew
out
them
and like,
by
tape them to your hand. Is that what happened, Michael? Is that what you did?
Yes.
Paper watches.
Yes.
Fine.
I used to know the watches by brand name. That's how.
Yeah.
Is that normal?
Sure. I don't know. I liked watches as a child as well.
What are you, fucking nerd or something?
You're the one that just talked about having paper watches. At least I had a watch, Michael. All right. That's
some of us can't afford a watch.
More than enough of this show. So again, you can please hit us up on email or Twitter if you have any questions or anything you want to have us argue about. We will always take all argument topics.
Before every episode, I usually, lately anyway, I ask on Twitter.
Before every episode that wasn't this one or the last one.
The last 2. I send out a tweet that says, send us questions on Twitter, and nobody ever does it. So screw you all.
So yes, send us questions, send us reviews, and
I don't care what the question is.
No.
If you think of a question during the week between each
when
episode.
is Pizza Thursday?
Yeah, I mean, just send it to us.
Obviously,
it's on
Wednesday.
Pizza Thursday day.
Oh, yeah, the Pizza Thursday.
Pizza Thursday day. It's not on Thursday.
Just whenever that day falls.
It's rotating.
Whenever the holiday falls.
Whenever Pizza Thursday day falls,
it's the
Pizza
second
Thursday.
Monday. It's the second Monday of every October?
Yes.
All right, got it. All right, that is more than enough of us. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Wookiee religions and ancient weapons. Wookiee religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side.